Well, our country got a little less free today as Douglass Mackey, aka Ricky Vaughn, was convicted of posting memes by a Brooklyn grand jury late this afternoon, Friday, March 31st, 2023, which also starts to kind of jive with the whole Trump thing. Can he get a fair trial in the city of New York? But let's talk about Douglass Mackey. He's well, to be nice, he's a troll, right? He's a far right internet troll. And he posted these memes, I'll show you in a second. He posted these memes, theoretically directed people to vote by text message. To vote by text message, as if you could do that. I mean, the theory of that, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It was a joke. It was satire on the old theme, hey, don't forget to vote on Wednesday, because, of course, nobody votes on Wednesday. You vote on Tuesday, right? So let's take a look at the meme. So if you pull up The American Conservative, they have a very good outline of the case dating back to April of 2021, and they also have an example of the meme right here. So this is one of a couple of memes that Ricky Vaughn, who I think he's the Charlie Sheen character, right? You get the name from, what's that, Major League? His real name, Douglass Mackey, formerly of Vermont, now of Florida. This is the meme. Avoid the line, vote from home, text Hillary to 59925. Okay, so this is a joke. This is a meme. Vote for Hillary to be part of history, right? You cannot actually vote this way. Anybody knows that, right? The 99% of the country knows that. Everyone knows that this is a joke, a farce, a satire. It's crystal clear. Except for the government, apparently. And the jury, you could argue, or maybe it was just a Friday and they wanted to go home. I don't know. They did and were kind of forced by the judge to deliberate all week. They had reported back that they could not reach a verdict, but the judge kept on sending them back, and all of a sudden on a Friday afternoon, oh, what do you know? We have a verdict. Yeah, so hey, we got to go home. We don't want to come back next week. So in this case, the government alleged that Mr. Mackey, and again, I'm not an attorney and I'm not going to get deep into the law, but in this case, Mr. Mackey was charged effectively with depriving people's constitutional rights, the right to vote. And the problem with that, on its face, is that the government could not produce anybody. And you think they could produce many people, but they could not produce anybody who was actually deprived of that right to vote. They did report that 4,900 people contacted the number in question in order to vote. Now, it wasn't clear whether they actually texted the right number and followed the procedure, but 4,900 people, according to the owner of the number, you know, the company that ran the service, 4,900 people called the number. But it's not also clear whether that was initially upon Ricky Vaughn's posting of it or whether it was relative to the media coverage that followed thereafter from BuzzFeed and other outlets. Many people may have picked this up from the news coverage because, let's be fair, if you followed Ricky Vaughn on Twitter back in 2016, you didn't do that because you disagreed with him. Not a lot of Hillary voters were following Ricky Vaughn, right? It was more like an echo chamber, as very well described again in this American Conservative post, which maybe we'll put in the description if I can remember. But most everybody who followed Ricky Vaughn was going to be voting for Trump, right? Almost all of them. You didn't have liberals following, or lefties. Liberals, we call them then, now we call them lefties, following Ricky Vaughn. Everybody knew he was a shit poster, right? That's what he was, shit poster troll. And, you know, it was a joke. The whole account was a joke. And the government never produced. You would think if 4,900 people were deprived of their vote, you would think that they could produce a dozen or two or three, 4 dozen of people who were like, oh, I read this and I was totally deprived of my vote. This law is supposed to be if you physically impede somebody from exercising their right to vote. Like, like the Klan, like surrounds the polling place with, some type of physical barrier or a picket line or something horrific like that. And these tactics, to be fair, did occur. Awful things like that did occur. But this law was not intended, and of course it was written when there was no internet. This law was not intended for a joke. And in terms of Trump, you say that Trump is like he's going to be a victim basically here. This does not bode well for Trump because basically it says that any New York jury will convict you. That the prosecutors and the people of New York, the jury pool, are so twisted in their mind that this actually is considered a crime. If this is considered a crime, then imagine how improperly accounting for a payoff to your mistress might be considered a crime, right? That's totally going to be considered a crime. If this was, then that will be. Mackey faces up to 10 years in prison. 10 years in prison for this offense, for being guilty. I would imagine, I hope there's an appeal. I don't necessarily have word of whether he's being held in custody now or whether that will be pending sentencing. I'm guessing it's a nonviolent crime, so that would be pending sentencing, and maybe he'll be out on appeal pending appeal. We'll have to learn more. But for now, we're a little less safe, a little less free than we were earlier today. All right, I'm John F. Gately from the Home Office here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Have a great day.